Hello and welcome to 0 Point Energy, where there's 0 point what we talk about and just as much energy. I'm Sean,
This is Jorge.
and today we're going to be talking about what I find to be a great movie. It's a weird mashup of Die Hard and Towering Inferno. It's the 2018 Dwayne Johnson classic. It's a classic, in my opinion, Skyscraper.
Fuck you, it is not a classic. What is wrong with you? It's a cash grab.
Most classics are.
Okay, I can't argue with that, but moving on. Okay, so he says it's a classic. I think it's a movie entirely of nopes. Not to say disabled people can't do stuff, but at the same time, it's highly improbable. No.
Everything they do is plausible. It's just not always possible. Or more realistically, everything is possible. It's just not plausible.
Okay, yes.
Pretty sure I said the same thing twice there, but I don't care.
Okay. No more redundancies. Moving on.
But without redundancies, we need redundancies. We're Americans. We're A10 warthogs. We need triple fail safes.
This movie only has like double.
True. But you get rocked with an artificial leg.
Okay, moving on. I like the movie. I just think I couldn't stop my mind from being like, nope, nope, no, that's not how that works, no, and then, no, and then, yeah.
But that's what makes it so great. I mean, it is a great movie. It's a bad movie. It has moments when it's so good, it's bad. And movies where it's so bad, it's good. Like, it's awesome.
Dude, you could literally tell at the beginning, that's the bad guy.
True. That dude just has a face that screams villain. Like, he's gonna be typecast just because of the way he looks.
I mean, but he has that face like Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones can look like a good guy or a bad guy. This guy, he could play a good guy. I don't even know the actor's name, but still, like...
I totally forgot his name, too.
Okay, whatever. Nameless dude. He can play a good guy, but he does the bad guy face so well. It's so obvious, though.
It does. Like, even with the introduction in the very beginning of the movie, like, not even when you see him in his suit, which just screams villain, when you just see him in, like, those first 5 minutes of the movie... when he's part of The Rock's team, when he's still with the FBI, it's like, that guy's gonna betray somebody.
Yeah.
Because you let him be in the front so he doesn't shoot you in the back.
He wasn't even in the front in that scene.
And what happened?
Okay, yes. But, okay. What we're talking about is a scene where literally The Rock and this dude are part of a team that is infiltrating into a cabin. And there's a guy with a dead man switch on, like, dynamite on his vest, and we don't know that yet. They go in, they see that the dude is holding his kid, and then he's like, what do you call it? The Rock is like trying to calm him down, like, dude, you can do this. Just put him down. It doesn't have to end this way. And then suddenly, he puts his kid down. He's crying like, I didn't want it to end this way. I didn't want it to end this way. And then you can see the dynamite. And before that happened, the other guy, the bad guy, literally tells him, I have the shot. He's like, don't do it.
And boom, goes the dynamite.
Yeah. And dude he has his face disfigured, not too badly, but decently enough. And then The Rock gets away with a couple of scars, but he also has his leg blown off, like, below the knee, right?
Yes. Dude walks away with definitely the main villain scars. There's perfect 3 lines down the jaw, and his messed up neck. It's a slight burn disfigurement. Like, if anything just screams, I'm the villain, it's the way this dude got burned.
I almost wanted to hear him say, you know how I got these scars?
Actually, I kind of expect the more of, Inspector Gadget, we meet again. Okay. He was just missing a cat.
And the arm, the what do you call it? The mechanical arm.
You can get away with that.
All right, fine. So from there, the movie just has a bunch of nopes. I mean, what do you call it? Dude was basically framed because he was a security inspector for a big building that like dwarfs the Burj Khalifa.
Yes.
From there, he was hired by his best friend or this evil dude, and we find out that he's the fall guy for something, and then somehow like Chinese crime syndicates are actually involved. They don't name anybody, but you know, triads and all that
It's a
jazz.
construction project in China. Of course the syndicates are involved. That's like saying the mob's involved with some construction site in New York. Adoy!
Moving on. So, from there, then, trouble ensues. Literally. What do you call it? Dude tries to steal his bag. By him, I mean The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And then they steal the bag, but they were actually after the tablet. The tablet is important in terms of the movie. It is facial recognition software involved in it, where if it sees his face, it allows him to manipulate the building.
It's a magic Jesus remote that gives you control of all the tech in the building.
I was going to say Mary Sue. Why did you have to bring Jesus?
Because Jesus is magic.
Jesus is not magic. He's... Okay, we're
Jesus
moving
is
on.
absolutely magic.
Jesus is not magic. That's friendship. Stop it.
Are you saying Jesus is not a friend? He's not my friend and your friend? He's everybody's friend?
We're not getting into this. Stop.
We could.
No.
I have
we're
time.
not. We have time, but still, no.
I mean, he's not as friendly as Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. But he is a superstar.
Moving on. So, we have the tablet. They try to steal the tablet. Bad guy tries to kill The Rock in order to take the tablet to give it to the gang syndicate people. What do you call it? The Rock has the tablet because he took it out of his bag. He actually had it in his jacket. And guy tries to kill The Rock, take the tablet. Rock kills the dude.
Which was a great fight scene, by the way. These two guys just beating the hell out of each other through this apartment.
Yes, that was the most believable thing in this movie. Like, yes, just...
And because The Rock has a removable leg, he can literally take his left foot and put it upside the right side of your head.
He had it off.
Exactly. I mean, he's not Billy Jack. But he can do some Billy Jack bullshit.
Okay, moving on. So, the dude literally, before the fight actually starts, he's pulling the leg. Like, why would you do this? Yes, he's off balance, but no! Like, that's not proper fighting. Like, you pull the leg to pull somebody off balance on their back, then beat their ass.
Right.
No!
When they have a detachable leg, you detach that leg so they're always off balance.
Okay, I don't disagree. But still, literally, he was focusing on that leg for like, what, a minute?
Yeah.
That's not how you fight.
You always zero in on an obvious weakness.
Okay.
The stump's going to cause you pain. Keep pumping that stump. That sounded dirtier than I meant it to.
God damn. Okay.
Oh, fun times.
Oh, I'm sure they were. Moving on. So,
I just think for once we're not recording this in the middle of the night. So that's not a joke I can blame on being tired.
ladies and gentlemen, why do I do this? Why?
Because I'm your only friend?
I have to go see my priest, excuse me. Moving on. So, that fight. What now?
And then we get his wife and his kids who went to go see the pandas.
But then the kid had a, what was it, an asthma attack or?
He ate strange Chinese candy. They didn't say exactly what he had. They said some strange candy. And then he started to not feel good. Apparently he has health issues. We do find out a little bit later that there's breathing issues, like they don't quite say it's asthma, but it's definitely some type of lung issue that can be treated with inhaler medication.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to make sure he wasn't having some kind of attack. So they go back home, or they have a condo in the residential section of this new construction project. They're literally the first people to live in it. And yeah.
Okay, yes.
It's kind of fun.
Meanwhile, The Rock is getting shot at because the drug people are coming in after he kills his best friend with the weirdestly angled gunshot ever. Literally, it was too straight. That could not have been done.
It could have been done. It's the first great example of it's possible, it's not plausible.
Okay, literally, people. It's dead center. Like, if people are shooters in the audience, you're supposed to shoot dead center, shoot at the heart, that sort of thing. Literally, it was point blank, but at the same time, the dude who's the bad guy was shooting himself at a bad angle. That should have at least angled a little to the left or a little to the right. And by left or right, I mean his. Now, you know what I mean.
Oh, I know. I mean, I get it. With the angle the two guys are at, wrestling with the gun right on top of each other, the fact that he shot himself perfectly, dead center in the chest, or just literally one single round right there, is highly improbable. It's not impossible, which is why it's possible, but it's not plausible.
You're just going to repeat that all night, aren't you?
That's what this entire movie is. It's possible. It's not plausible.
That's a yes. Moving on.
Moving on and on and on and on. Then we get the gangsters in the building. Yes, I'm being random as fuck. That's just how I am. They are spreading. They don't say what chemical it is. Probably if we did a freeze frame while we were watching it, we probably could have read the label on the jug a little bit better. But they're spreading some chemical that
reacts to water.
It reacts with water. It ignites and combusts with water, and they're spreading it all over the entire floor of the building. So instead of actually setting a fire, they can use the building sprinkler system to ignite the fire. And since this chemical keeps reacting, the wetter it gets, the fire keeps getting more and more intense. It's a genius plan.
I'll give you a genius plan, but still. It shouldn't have been as stable as it was. But, moving on.
Well, the way it sparks and stuff, it kind of looks like lithium. Kind of looks like magnesium.
I was thinking sodium, but fine.
Yeah, sodium doesn't spark so much. It just kind of goes poof. I mean, it's a violent poof, but it just goes poof.
Okay, fine. So from there, when they see that, they have a little interaction with the mom, and they know, like, what's going on? We're just fixing the phone lines? I thought they weren't connected. They will be.
Yeah.
Then they have a little interaction with the kids, and then the mom's like, okay, something's definitely wrong here. Get inside. Get inside. Meaning the kids, not the people. The people just leave, and they have this box that says serum. We don't know what that is, but it's important later on.
And apparently the mom's very capable of using Google. Like, all the people in this movie are simultaneously tech wizards and technophobes, or at least tech illiterate. Like, the wife has a smartphone. It freezes up sometime. She doesn't know to just restart it. But she sees these construction workers with a weirdly marked case, and she goes and Googles what the fuck it is.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as
I'm sorry,
technological
she's in
common
China,
sense?
so there is no Google. Google, the Chinese equivalent to Google.
Xiaobei or something like that was what it says.
Some shit.
It is weird though that there's technological common sense and then there's not. Like, turn it off and on again. Most people don't know that. I know because I work in tech. But still, like, turn it off and on again. It's not working. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Moving on. So from there, When they're doing all that, they turn on the sprinklers. Everything catches fire on the 95th floor. The condo that they're on, conveniently, is on the 96th floor.
I know it's the 96th floor that catches fire, and their condo is on the 98th floor.
I thought they were right. Okay, fine.
So I know, it's a stupid nitpicky thing, but yeah, they set fire to 6, and they're on 8.
Alright, so from there, what do you call it? The Chinese drug lords, or syndicate, the gang people, they take the tablet from The Rock, they beat him down a little, and then they rush off away with this hot chick who really knows how to wield a gun as well as punch. What?
Just fun stuff.
What?
You and your weird Chinese boner.
That either means I have a boner for Chinese people, either I have a small dick because it's yellow, stereotypic, or because I have a boner, it is actually yellow. So pick one.
Yes.
I said one.
No.
Okay, so none of them. Good. Moving on.
She is a very cute woman, and I forget the actress's name too.
No, but seriously, she does an awesome job. Like, she plays it serious, but still sexy and badass, you know? It's not just all sexy or all... You get the idea. Like, not an Ada... what's her name? Ada Wong? Resident Evil 2?
Yeah, I think it's Ada Wong.
Ada Wong. Like, portions of Resident Evil 2, Ada was awesome. Portions, it's like, no, she could get out of that. Why are you... Yeah. Okay, moving on. So this girl was definitely underutilized. She could have done more. But moving on. From there we have The Rock trying to get the tablet back, and then he's running, and they get into a main street, and then suddenly a whole bunch of Hong Kong police come over, and they're shooting at the Hong Kong. Why do I keep saying Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong police.
Hong Kong Phooey!
Okay, mine was a mistake. He was racist.
That was a good cartoon.
That was a cartoon?
Yeah, it was a dog who was a janitor for the new karate. So his superhero crime-fighting alter ego was Hong Kong Phooey.
This sounds so familiar, yet so not. Moving on. Okay, so.
The 60s were a weird time, and Hanna-Barbera did some crazy shit.
Now, are we talking about the cartoons, or we're talking about drugs?
Yes.
Moving on. Alright, so, they go into the main street, they're getting shot at, and then suddenly the syndicate people take out a cop on a bike. The Rock takes the bike, and then they go chasing after him. They get away, and The Rock then proceeds to try to get back to the... what was the name of the building?
That's when he finds out that the skyscraper's on fire, the Pearl.
That's it, the Pearl. Yes. So, he goes back, he sees, oh no, my family. And then suddenly they have pictures of him on the screen, because they have TVs everywhere, and...
Well, he calls his wife first, so they're talking.
Okay, fine, yes, they're talking. He tells her to get away, to try to go up because they can't get down and the fire suppression systems are offline. From there, then that's when the police come and they're like, turn around in Cantonese, right?
Yeah.
Cantonese. So then he basically decides, okay, I'm turning around. No. Gets back on the bike, and no, he doesn't get back on the bike. He just runs.
Yeah, he just runs through because they have the whole streets and everything blocked. Because they're keeping people away from the building because it's on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, when a building that's almost 300 floors is on fire, you keep people away. Burning debris is a bitch.
Take your word for it. Alright, so, from there, what's his name? The Rock goes back to the Pearl, but he's attacked by... No, he's not attacked. He
just can't figure out how to get in, so he decides to climb up a crane, which it's another one of those moments of it's not impossible, it's just not plausible.
I mean, again, no offense to disabled people, but not with that leg.
It's possible. It's not plausible.
Also, with a bike, I did not know they have automatic, what do you call it? Automatic gear change?
There are motorcycles that have automatic transmissions.
Transmission, thank you.
Thing.
So I was like, no, he doesn't have the right leg to be able to change the gear.
Well, people with prosthetic legs can ride motorcycles. They do. You don't really need a whole lot of dexterity in your foot to work the gear change if you do have a manual, or even to work the foot brake.
All right, fine.
I mean, you need some dexterity, but you don't need a ton.
Again, my mistake. My apologies. So, from there, we also have the gang people going to the security office about a mile away from the tower. And then they kill everybody. They have a hacker from, sounds like Swedish, Norwegian, around there. And because of the accent. So then he sets up his small, it looks like a cherry pie, and he has his own keyboard. He hacks in, then he locks everything. He gets rid of the facial lockout from the tablet. And then the Chinese lady has complete control. He then says, I'm the best. I have a logarithmic cipher that will not be cracked by anybody because I'm the only one who can do it because it's my cipher. Blah, blah, blah. Then she kills him. You know that was coming, but still.
Yeah, literally every word he says is a death flag. Like if you've ever watched anime, seen long-running drama shows, and this character, every word, like, I wrote the best program, you're gonna die. I'm the only person who can use this program, you're gonna die. I'm the only person who knows how to turn this program off, you're gonna die. And aren't I the baddest? You're definitely gonna die. You're gloating way too much. And we're only 45 minutes into this movie.
It's not a long movie either.
It's not a long movie. It's I think it's under 2 hours.
Yeah, makes sense. So, from there, we go back to the tower, and like he said, The Rock is climbing up, and we're like, no. But then he's climbing up, the police see him on what looks to be a drone because there were no helicopters over there to see him.
Right, there are no helicopters anywhere. These are moving shots, so they're definitely not from like static cameras that would be up on top of buildings and stuff. So like, there has to be like news drones circling this building.
No political commentary. Moving on. So we have the drones going around him, and then the cops are like, "Go get me him. I need to talk to him." And then they have a small squadron of cops going in there. They break the door to the elevator. They get inside. They're going up. Meanwhile, he's literally almost there, and he's like, "Shit." He climbs up faster.
Bring him to me so we can talk. And let's send 8 heavily armed SWAT soldiers.
But it's not just SWAT. They also have like every single tool you can think of. They have
that's the special weapons and tactics. The special part is the fact that they can open doors and everything because they have saws and shit.
Really, I thought they rode the short bus.
They might. I mean,
moving on.
Some of those vans.
God damn it. Okay, so they go in there. They're going up, and then the Rock finds like a really thick chain, and what was it, like a stick or something? Like, I don't know.
Just a chain.
No, it was a chain and something else. He put like something in
there.
I think
it's a piece of rebar.
Okay, rebar. He puts it in there. He locks it basically twice because it's already locked up there. Then he grabs this big wrench. He's about to break through the door to get into the... What is it? Crane?
Crane, yeah.
Yeah, to get into the crane. And then he's like, wait. He opens it, and it's open. He drops the wrench. He just goes inside. That I actually liked.
Yeah, because it's one of those semi-common sense things. This crane is 90 plus stories in the air. It has a locked elevator to get up to it, and not an easy out. Like, he climbed the outside of the elevator cage to get up there. He did not climb a ladder or anything. So, like, it's difficult to get up this high. So it makes sense that you don't need to lock the cab of the crane. Like, you can't. Nobody's supposed to be able to get up there without taking the elevator. You lock the elevator.
Okay, but the elevator was locked at the top and at the bottom. That doesn't make sense. How did you lock it at the top to get in?
Because it's a sliding gate.
But it was locked from the outside.
You can reach through.
There was not rebar, what are the crisscross metal things.
Yeah, it's big enough to get your hand through to work a padlock.
Fine. Okay, so then he gets in and he moves the crane to get it into position to get into the building. Problem is, when he gets there, the arm is not long enough, so he has to end up swinging the hook.
He uses the carriage to slide the hook back and forth, so he can slam the hook forward, extend it out, so it'll grab the side of the building, which works. Not really, but it kind of works.
Barely. So, one other thing though. Inside of the cockpit, it was in English. They're in Hong Kong. It makes kind of sense, but at the same time...
I gotta say, until 1996, Hong Kong was a British territory. So yeah, it would make sense. There's a lot of shit still being done in English and Chinese there.
There was no Chinese on that thing at all.
Yeah, there was. You did characters, but the words were in English.
I did not see... Okay, fine.
Yeah, you had both. Almost everything you see in this movie did have both. You'd have the Chinese characters, which they don't call it kanji. What are Chinese? I mean, it's kanji, but what are the Chinese ones called?
I don't know. We'll just call them characters.
Chinese characters. Well, for Cantonese, Mandarin are two different things. So I don't know if it's a different writing system, but whatever. Moving on.
Why are you stealing my phrase?
Because it's fun to say. I want to say it every now and then. Moving on. I make it so much more fun. Moving on.
I hate you. So, from
Love
there...
you too, buddy.
From there, then he goes up after it's swung and stuck onto the building. He goes up onto the actual crane. He grabs the safety harness. He goes up there. He walks across. Then suddenly the...
You don't have to frame by frame this. He's going to do some crazy shit.
Fine. He loses the harness. He does some crazy shit. He moves across. Again, nope. Yeah. Because he literally runs across.
Well, the biggest nope is his plan was to use the harness to fast rope down and just slide, use a zip line to slide down those cables.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely wouldn't have worked. But we see the hook unhook and go swinging around. So his next plan is to climb to the top of the tower, run down the arm, and then make this leap of faith, which is a good 20, 30 feet.
At least.
And that's another one of those, it's possible, it's not plausible. Because The Rock is a big man. He's a big, heavy man. And the type of prosthetic he has is definitely the type that's meant for standing on. Maybe walking on for a while. It is not the type that's made for running.
Correct.
I mean, if he had one of those running blades, I wouldn't question it at all. I believe in the amount of length he had, he could generate enough speed to even move his big ass that far.
Also, helping him though was the bridge was a good 15 feet above from where the actual
yeah, so
opening was.
The momentum carried him downward towards the hole. So that's what makes it plausible.
Okay.
If he'd had a blade leg. Without having the blade, it doesn't make it plausible. I mean, it is possible. It's not impossible that he made this jump, but there's some movie magic happening.
And then he pulls a Die Hard, jumps down, somehow doesn't bleed in heavily, and then grabs on by one hand and manages to pull himself into the building. No.
He started with both hands, and then one slipped. And they did use some plausible reality there. It's the arm that he got hurt in when the tablet was stolen from him, which was further injured by his fight with the other guy, which was further injured by his fight with Ada Wong, which was further injured by him having to climb that tower, which was further injured by him having to do all the shit he'd done up to that point. So it makes sense that when he jumps and has to hang with all his weight, that arm's the one that fails him.
I don't disagree. Also, we're calling her Ada Wong from now on.
I can't remember her actual name. Okay, the character's actual name is Xia. Xia.
Fine. Jia. Ja.
Xia.
Okay, Ada Wong it is.
Ada Wong.
So, from there,
Oh,
yeah,
we
what?
can call her by the actress. Like, I looked up the actress. Like, her name's Helena.
Fine, Helena. So from there, after he pulls himself up, you can see that he actually did get injured. He was stabbed basically above on the on the arm or upper chest.
Yeah, a chunk of the broken window frame that he caused is stabbing into his arm. He did get some cuts and scrapes across his hands for the glass, which reasonable. And then he just completely tore open the arm wound that he already had from earlier in the movie. So at least they have decent continuity too.
Okay, decent, but at the same time, he pulled out a stab wound. He didn't even cauterize it. He just pulled it out. He should have been bleeding.
It was in his shoulder. He'd be fine.
All he did was duct tape it. No.
He put some gauze around it first.
That wasn't gauze.
Yeah, he had a first aid kit.
I did not even notice. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a basic first aid kit. It just had, a couple 2x4s of roll gauze tape and shit like that. Mostly he made a rag sponge out of his shirt. That's what he had available.
You would need at least some, some packing for that kind of wound.
I mean, yeah.
You're not going to stuff your shirt in there.
Why not? That's my shirt. I know where it's been.
Sweat, tears, blood. Plus,
he poured vodka on it.
That's another thing. It was vodka. Oh God. Okay, it was 40 proof vodka. Most people know vodka is 40 proof. Anything medicinal grade has to be at least 70.
No, it has to be to kill germs, bacteria, and viruses. It has to be 70 plus. It can be under that and still be antiseptic.
I know you're right, but still, no. Like you're barely right.
Like between 45 and 67, it's still antiseptic. It's good enough for cleaning a wound. It's not good enough for sanitization.
Yeah, most doctors would still say no.
In an emergency, it's good enough.
Dude, I would prefer putting, what is it called? The green stuff. Help me. Green ferret.
Absinthe?
There we go. Pure absinthe. It would burn like a mother, but it would work.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of contaminants and stuff in absinthe. So at least vodka is highly distilled.
That's why I said it would burn more.
More likely to cause infection, too. Just for touching it.
Nah.
Yeah. Distilled liquors. You want distilled liquors?
It's distilled. It just has other shit in it.
It's not distilled.
Fine. Anyways. So from there, what does he do? He grabs an axe and then he starts his John McClane campaign upstairs to save his family.
Yes. It's Die Hard as John McClane refused to use the gun.
Basically, then the gangsters change the wind to, instead of seal the floors, they pull the fire up like a chimney and then spread the fire to the upper floors.
Yes.
This entire time, his wife, Neve Campbell,
yeah.
Neve Campbell, what's it called? Who is an awesome actress in this, by the way. Like, 110%. I wish they had used her more.
Yeah, she needs to be more action movies. Like, I want... this should be the new Die Hard. Let's do another one of these. It's been 3 years. Let's do another one of this with this family being in the wrong place, wrong time.
Why? Okay. I could see it, but no. like, it's been done. It's too cliched. Like, the new Die Hard suck.
Right, because they're still using the same actor from 30 years ago. We got to redo the whole thing. And you have to keep mixing your movies. Like Skyscraper is a mix of Towering Inferno and Die Hard. So next time we got to put it on a cruise ship. So we're gonna add some speed too. It's Titanic.
Actually, I was thinking more along the lines of Snakes on a Plane and Air Force One.
See, we can do that.
I was kidding. It's ridiculous.
The more ridiculous it is, the more likely it is to be a movie.
Jesus Christ! I know you're right, but no. Okay. From there, the family, like, smartly, Nev Campbell has the wet blankets, the wet towels.
Towels,
they put them on the door.
Yeah.
They use them as masks.
They're making their way through the smoke-infested building, which is its own challenge because of their son with breathing disorder. And they make it up to the outdoor park. They make it out in the hallways and stuff. And they meet the building security team just as the vents open in the elevators and turn the entire building into a chimney. So they get to watch the two security guards burn in a giant fireball.
They're gonna need a therapist.
They're fine.
No. So.
Their dad can take his leg on and off. These kids aren't scarred at all.
I don't like you. Alright, so Zhao sent them downstairs. They were going to evacuate through the helicopter. Then the guys die. They try to go upstairs. And Zhao just decides, let's get out of here. Zhao is the guy who owns the pearl. So they go there. They finally meet the bad guys. The bad guys shoot at them. And Zhao makes his escape and goes back to his penthouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really back to his penthouse. I mean, it's kind of back to the penthouse, but mostly he just locks himself in it. Like, it's the most luxurious panic room ever.
Yeah.
I mean, those doors were at least a foot thick. Literally, we see later, Rock sticks his leg in there, it's a foot thick.
How could you? Oh my god. That is... No. What is wrong? How could you laugh at that?
That's a you joke, but I made it.
I only have so much. Stop taking it from me. What's wrong with you?
I am going to become you. Although without all the whole Spanish stuff. That's disgusting.
Ok. De ahora en adelante solamente voy a hablar en español para que este güey se calle.
No.
Esa es la única palabra que sabes decir en español.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
This is how we move on, folks. We just sit and laugh at our own stupid jokes.
Unfortunately.
We're multilingual, too.
I'm multilingual. You're like I don't know, fuck.
I'm multilingual. I just hate myself for being it.
Alright. Alright, so...
I'm a good American, damn it. I only speak English and I speak it poorly.
I've seen... I won't disagree with that. So...
I forgot what we were. We're moving on. That's it. We're laughing at our lack of moving on. So we did background music on some of these episodes.
Then put on something that isn't copyrighted.
Dude, that would take forever to find. Like, I'd have to actually pre-plan some of this shit. I think I have that kind of time or energy. The whole point of this is there's zero energy and zero effort put forth.
You realize that setting this up takes about an hour.
Yeah, but we get to hang out and watch movies.
True. Okay.
I set this shit up so we can watch movies. It just happens to involve a few $100 worth of semi-professional grade recording equipment.
Semi.
Semi.
Eh.
We could have gotten better American-made mics instead of the Chinese ones.
The Chinese ones work as good as the American ones and cost half the price. Probably less.
They cost a tenth of the price. The American ones are $800. These are about $80. And they're the same fucking mic!
Actually, they're about 40.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got them on sale before Christmas.
Yeah.
You got them on Black Friday sales.
Yes.
Yay! This is also why we were originally going to start recording this stuff for New Year. We didn't get to start recording this until after Valentine because our microphones were stuck in quarantine for 2 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, thank you, China. China.
Why are you saying it like that?
China. Because that's how our president used to say it.
Chicken to China, the Chinese chicken.
That's a good song.
Yes,
I should play that one.
We don't have the copyright, man.
Oh, fuck it. We ain't getting paid for this anyways.
We could, though.
We could. We could.
We should.
We should.
That's right, people. We are starting a Patreon. I'm kidding.
Starting an OnlyFans?
No.
It's just going to be pictures of my fish.
At least it's not his ass, people. Believe me. It ain't.
I mean, there might be a couple pictures of my ass thrown in there. It's mostly going to be my fish.
That is not a euphemism. He actually does have fish.
I like my fish.
Good.
I put my turtles in there too.
Again, also not a euphemism.
I can watch my turtles eat my worm.
Okay. God damn it. Okay, moving on. Let's get back to the movie.
Back to the movie. Okay.
All right, so they go up to the park.
Indoor-outdoor park.
Yes, and
which takes up like 10 floors on its own.
Which is actually really beautiful.
Yeah, considering it starts at like floor 101.
Which is really weird, but it is beautiful. And from there, we have The Rock actually finally meet up with his family. They're running across a bridge when suddenly the bridge breaks. They have a few agents who go down because they were trying to shoot them off.
It also shows some more of the genius of the plan of starting the fire with a chemical that burns hotter the wetter it gets. You start the fire below the park, so as the fire spreads outwards because heat rises and it makes it to the park and forces the floor to collapse, it drops that giant tank of the huge man-made pond and waterfall that is in this park, and all the water crashes down onto the lower floors, which are covered in a chemical that burns the more the wetter it gets. It's a self-propagating fire. The more you try to put it out, the more it burns.
I'm pretty sure it was already used up by that point. The chemical, I mean.
Nah.
Fine. Okay, so then The Rock comes in to save the day. There's a bridge, it collapses, and then the mom tries to get across along with her son to meet her daughter who's on the other side. The Rock pulls...
Well, there's also a fight with some of the terrorist gangster dudes.
Yeah, it wasn't very memorable.
It wasn't. He just kind of smacked him with his axe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he has an axe. An awesome axe. It's, what do you call it? It's an axe, obviously, but the other side is also a wrench.
Yes.
Then from there, he and his wife take a piece of wood, they put it across, and The Rock is holding cable in order to hold part of the bridge up because the wood isn't that long.
He's holding up a big chunk of the walkway with just his hands.
And his...
While it's collapsing, while she goes across what's essentially a 2x6 laying across a hole to go carry her son back across.
At least 10 feet long, too.
What else?
Across. 10 feet
across.
across.
Yeah, it's 10, 12 feet, at least.
So then they get over there.
And fun times. Oh, yes. She makes it across. She saves the son, gets back across the hole. They're now separated from their daughter, who's up higher up. So they tell her they'll meet her in a little bit. and they make it to the elevator. And this is the most genius, simultaneously dumbest plan that they've come up with. Besides all the other shit they've done up to this point.
Oh,
Which,
God.
because of the fire, the elevators are locked onto the floor that they're on. But the plan is you put the wife and the son in the elevator and you cut the cable that holds the emergency brake in place and you drop the elevator 120 floors down to the ground and hope your wife can pull the manual brake before they slam into the ground.
Now, that is all kinds of stupid, but it could work. This is where we switch places. It could work. I agree with you. It's stupid, but it could work.
The wife used to be a Navy surgeon, so it's understandable that she can keep a cool head under pressure, especially surrounded by fire. That makes sense. But to have the strength and the presence of mind to yank a lever with all your might while falling to your death, while simultaneously counting to 5 with 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Now, do you pour it on 5 or do you wait till 5 1,000?
I'm gonna say 5.
Possible. So you have to hold your son so the G-forces of plummeting 100 stories don't slam him around the elevator. Keep some presence of mind. Grab a handle barely big enough to wrap your hand around. Count to 5 while plummeting to your death again, falling 100 stories in a bullet-shaped elevator. Grabbing said handle, yanking it, and gently coming to a stop because you use a magnet to re-engage right before you slammed into the ground. It's possible. It's not plausible.
Okay, yes. Now, that's the thing though. How did you know you would stop at floor 1? Because that's where they needed to be to get out. Otherwise, they would have stopped somewhere up and they would have had to go either downstairs or something along those lines. Now, those floors didn't have any fire, but at the same time, they would have been unstable.
Yeah, so from where they were, the Rock calculated it takes him 5 seconds to get below floor 96 from where they were so that they could pull the lever to start activating the magnets. And it would take the magnets 90 floors to slow them down enough to stop them at ground floor.
Yeah, no. Too big a risk. No. Like
how ridiculously heavy is this elevator? If it picked up so much speed by having its brake disengage in 30 floors, I mean, yeah, that's 300 feet, but 30 floors. It fell 30 floors and then took an additional 90 to stop.
yeah, no.
And that's 30 floors with no brakes at all, and 90 floors with full emergency magnetic lock brakes.
Okay. I get that he knows the building because he's a safety assessor, but at the same time, he doesn't know everything about the building. He doesn't know what everything weighs. It's impossible. Like, no.
He did some physics calculations in his head on the fly looking at an elevator.
Okay.
The Rock's his genius. And I believe it.
To take a phrase from you, nope.
That's some honey bunches of nope right there.
Okay.
There's so much nope there, I'm going to call it Leslie.
What the?
Yeah, that's a Parks and Rec reference. I've been watching it recently.
What is wrong with you? No! You know better! Why?
What? I used to not like the show. Then I got really, really bored. So, not the sponsored things, but I downloaded the Peacock app and I've been just binge watching Parks and Rec for like the last 2 days.
Ladies, hold on. I'm going to smack him.
Damn it! At least next time, make it my ass.
No, you'd like it too much.
Probably.
Alright, so. Once they actually make it down, then we have the police taking the mother and asking her questions like, what's going on up there? What happened? They don't believe her that when she says that the Rock isn't a part of it. Then they speak in Chinese, and Nev Campbell awesomely speaks Mandarin Chinese or Cantonese and tells them, no, he didn't do it.
Yeah. And while that's going on, we also have the simultaneous, the terrorist, gangster, whatever you want to call them, they kidnapped the Rock's daughter so that they can get him to try to break his way into the penthouse so they can get to Zhao. Honestly, the location for the failsafe so they can manually override the lock on Zhao's penthouse. There's a whole, like, Sigourney Weaver said it best in another classic of cinema, Galaxy Quest. Oh, fuck that.
Obviously, my friend uses classic very loosely.
Galaxy Quest is the best Star Trek movie to not be called a Star Trek movie.
The best Star Trek movie is First Contact.
No.
Yes.
Galaxy Quest is the best Star Trek movie that's not a Star Trek movie. It is. It absolutely is.
I prefer the Orville.
It's the best Star Trek show that's not a Star Trek show. Like, the Orville is what we wish Discovery was.
Just from a comedic standpoint, it kind of is.
It is. It's about equally as poorly written. True.
What the fuck? Orville is awesomely written. What is wrong with you?
I'm going to admit right now, I've seen more episodes of Discovery than I have of Orville.
Why?
I've seen 2 episodes of Orville, and I've seen 3 episodes of Discovery.
Why would... Okay, we're... God damn it. Okay, we're... So many tangents. Moving on. No, fine. Okay, you know what? Orville is actually a good show. I like Orville, okay? It's stupid. It's smart. It's
not a bad show. I'm not saying it's a bad show.
Say it's a good show.
It is a good show.
Good.
It's not a well-written show.
Lies.
You know why it's not a well-written show?
Why?
The Seth MacFarlane show.
God damn it. Okay.
None of his shows are well-written. They're all good. They're just not well-written.
You once told me South Park is well-written. If that is well-written, so is the Orville.
South Park is well-written.
It is. So is the Orville.
No.
Yes.
No, because they actually have time to make episodes of the Orville. They crank out an episode of South Park every 2 weeks. It takes 3 to 5 months to shoot one episode of the Orville. I would say, when you crunch the numbers, and the amount of time a writing staff has to come up with good jokes and a good plot, the South Park team is way fucking better than the Orville team. Because they can rapid fire them. They're coming up with 30 minutes of worth of material every 2 weeks. And the Orville team is coming up with 30 minutes worth of material once a year. But they've got 6 hours worth of episodes.
You know, most of that was wrong. Most of that math was really wrong.
Why?
You know why. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Now, back to Discovery.
Oh, side
Discovery.
tangents are fun.
What?
Side tangents are fun. What? Are you going to try to argue that Discovery is a good show?
No! Why would... No!
Well, you're the one who just said, well, back to Discovery.
Because we just ended on Orville. Now to Discovery.
There's nothing good about Discovery. There isn't.
I'm going to disagree with you. A couple of things are good in Discovery. Too many to name right here.
What's
I know it's
good
a
about
cop out. I
Discovery?
don't care.
Name one good thing.
One good thing about Discovery?
Uh-huh.
The ship.
No.
Yes.
The ship that has hyper advanced technology
That should not
from
have
a
existed at
time
the time.
period 20 years before the oldest show.
I mean,
There's more,
Enterprise...
like, if the spore drive existed in the time of Kirk, why the fuck doesn't Janeway have it to get out of the goddamn Delta Quadrant?
We talked about this.
We did talk about this, and at no point did anybody come up with a good reason other than plot. Plot is not a good reason for that. Unless we set all of Discovery in the fucking Kelvin timeline. Then, yeah, it can be as janky as fuck because it's Kelvin. But no, it's supposed to be in Prime. And if it's in Prime timeline, why the fuck is the Federation so insanely advanced years before they created any advancements? Like, they don't create the transport drive until the time of the third movie? No, I'm sorry, the fifth movie? Which is only about 20 or 30 years pre-next gen. So, that's about 60 years. So, the Spore Drive, which is arguably a much better system, was created before the Transport Drive. And nobody talks about it. That's kind of like how Borg existed in Archer's time. And nobody from the Federation knew what the fuck a Borg was in Picard's time.
Do you not know what classified means?
200 fucking years. You can't keep shit classified for that goddamn long.
Lies.
No.
Okay, fine. Tell me the formula of Greek fire.
It's kerosene and diesel.
Fuck you, that's not true.
Which is styrofoam packing peanuts.
Fuck you. Moving on. I proved it. Greek fire. Tell me what it is. You don't know. Fuck you.
It's fugas.
It's full bar is what it is. Okay, so from there, what?
This one.
Okay. So from there we have The Rock trying to get into the penthouse.
Yes, and that is a fun little montage of him setting up to go find his access panel. Which, by the way, this entire tower, this 300-story monolith in downtown Hong Kong, right in the bay, it's right in Hong Kong Bay, is powered by a 50-story tall wind turbine. And for some wonderful reason, the manual override for the penthouse security doors is on an access panel on the central shaft to the turbine. So you have to go between the blades at the top of the turbine to access the security panel.
Yeah, that was all kinds of nope.
Yes. But then you get this one. But if it wasn't for that much notes, you want to have a montage of The Rock throwing throwing statues through a window to break it. Tying rope to another statue so he can use it to brace himself. Creating sticky gloves out of duct tape so he can hold his rope without fucking up his hands.
Yeah, that's this entire scene. It deserved an 80s like song for the montage. It did. But the problem is, this entire thing was like, nope, no, like, okay. The entire plan was to, what is it called when you go down a rope like that?
Rappel.
That's it. He was rappelling down, what was it, like 4 or 5 stories?
Yeah.
Then he was on the ledge and going across, little by little, feeding the rope in order to get to the turbine. Because that was where the walkway was. From there.
Yeah, so this is all that was missing.
Really? What?
Like, if this had played through that entire scene.
You had to use the South Park. God damn it.
It's the greatest montage song ever.
No. Okay, so he times it because this thing is literally spinning about 1 time a second. Like, he times it and he jumps in.
And he makes it while so attached to a rope that doesn't get caught in the blades while they keep spinning around. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So then he does the thing. He presses the button, whatever the fuck it was.
he does the thing to the thing. It unlocks the thing. So then he has to jump through the blades again.
Get out.
Swing back out to where he was. When his rope then starts to fall.
Yeah.
So he falls, swings upside down, and ping pongs across the side of this building, which should have knocked him the fuck out.
And then it gets caught on his leg.
On his artificial leg.
That thing should have popped right out. No, it's still held on for his dear life. No.
That's right, because those magnetic clips that were holding it in place, they're plot strong. When one of the secondary villains has to kick it out of place, they let go in a second. When he grabs it and pulls at it, slides out of place in a second. When his entire body weight is yanked against it in the wrong direction, fucking holds like a champ.
Okay, the only thing I can think of is he's got some, like, Iron Man shit in there, like, electronic magnets holding on for dear fucking life, and, like, he's got magnets underneath his leg, like, right there, just to hold it right in place. And then, the worst part, okay, it actually comes loose. Somehow, he was able to jump back up and grab the fuck out of his leg. Well, not jump, but, like, a crunch.
Well, he was trying to crunch front roll his way up so he could grab the rope, but his leg came off. So instead of grabbing the rope, he has to make the desperate grab for his leg. And he grabs his leg. So now his artificial leg held his entire body weight by just the magnetic fasteners that it has so it connects to his stump. Which, the only reason I said it has magnetic fasteners is every time it comes down and off, there's an audible click. Which would be magnetics grabbing it. Which means they either put a metal cap under the skin or he has subdermal magnets. The other way, he puts this thing on, click.
That's just...
So, those magnets held his entire body weight for a few seconds. And now, a piece of rope wrapped around this very thin ankle, which might be a ½ inch thick. The little ankle joint that this thing has. Which has already held his entire body weight. Is now holding his entire body weight while he's holding on to the end of the prosthetic. And he manages to scramble his way back up.
This entire movie is basically a love song to American prosthetics technology because it really holds up. Like, yeah, it's a fucking champ.
And then, like, literally, as soon as he scrambles his way back up, he's laying on the ground, he's out of breath, he's exhausted, and the doors are starting to close again because Zhao was in there and he saw the doors to his panic room open. So he's using his override to override the override to close the doors again.
Not a panic room, panic penthouse. Remember, it's a penthouse.
Okay, multi-room panic area.
Fine. So then he goes basically crawling / moving his way up to it, and it's closing. It's closing. He puts his goddamn leg into the door, holding it in place. You can hear it crushing little by little.
Which is how we find out that the doors are a foot thick.
Oh my god, why?
I'm going to keep making that joke every time there's an opening.
Jesus Christ.
It's true, though. Did he not put his foot in the door?
It's not a literal empirical foot. Dude, come on.
Did he not put his foot in the doorway and the door was exactly as thick as his foot?
Technically.
It's a foot thick.
God damn it. Okay. I don't know how big the foot. I don't know how big the Rock's feet are, but still.
I think they're 15 and a half. They're about my size.
Whatever. Okay, so he crawls inside, and then him and Zhao have a talk. And we find out the entire reason that this situation is actually happening.
He took money from the mob.
Good
guy.
He didn't take money. He paid them.
No. He asked them for money. They gave him money. And then he hid tracking software in the money that he wire transferred to them. So he could find out all the people who get money.
Okay, you're talking about money laundering. This was extortion.
He was extorted. But he traced their network because they laundered his money. So his program figured out where all their money goes to get laundered. So they for the entire network.
And then he saved that to a drive. And then they want to kill him because they... Oh, right. The guy. The bad guy. Bota.
Bota, yes.
Yeah. He was the one who threatened Zhao. And then he gave him money. He found out all the information about the laundering, like Sean said. And then he saved it on the drive. But because of the finding out of the money and the laundering, all the accounts, the big guys, the gangs were mad at Bota and like, fix this, otherwise you're dead. So Bota's life is in danger, and that's why he's doing all this.
And they know that he has fail-safe, so if they just kill Zhao, then the media is going to get copies. So they need to not kill him so they can get the original, so they can hack it, so they can not, they don't want to delete the information, they just want to hide the identities of who owns the accounts that all the money bounces around to when they launder it. It's like, they don't care if people know that there are hundreds of accounts all over the world that they ping-pong wire transfers to launder it. They just don't want people to know who owns those accounts. And that's the information Zhao has.
From there, we get to the end game, where the scene with the basically holodeck, as Sean called it, at the beginning of the movie, comes in.
The namesake to the tower, the Pearl, is this giant sphere at the top of it. And this sphere is outfitted with cameras along the outside and the inside. And Zhao sees it as being not just a centerpiece, but also going to be the biggest tourist attraction to ever hit Hong Kong or even the world. And when questioned about why are there cameras on the outside and the inside, he shows them. cameras on the inside can pick up where you are, and there are screens that can pop up from the floor and everything that are life-sized. So you can literally treat it like a holodeck. You can show other people that are standing there, do a mirror maze type thing. But the cameras on the outside are the true centerpiece. You can activate the cameras on the outside, and the entire sphere turns invisible to people who are inside. So it looks like you are floating 3,000 feet above the ground.
Yeah, that's what I call vertigo.
Yeah, but it's fun. You're above the crowds. As Xiao says, welcome to heaven. Those are probably the last words a lot of people hear from him, considering when you're that high up and you can't see anything below you other than the ground, that'll cause a heart attack.
Yeah.
I wonder how many, maybe this is why none of the security companies in the world will accept the security, the insurance policy for his building, and only the Rocks company will do it, because he gave so many of their inspectors heart attacks. Like, welcome to heaven. Oh shit, I killed another one.
Now, funny you should say that, because this entire scene takes place, obviously, during the inferno coming up from underneath. It breaks into the sphere, so instead of heaven, they're quite literally in a flaming hell.
Yes, and it's fun.
Fun.
Hell is always so much more fun. It's a lot warmer.
I don't like the warmth, but moving on. So,
oh, and so you have this firefight amongst the the terrorist gangsters and Zhao and the Rock. And of all the terrorists, I'm going to say only 2 of them are intelligent with the fact that they took over a skyscraper. So, meaning they're indoors, confined areas. Like, 2 of them have submachine guns, pistol caliber guns, which are great, but they're automatic.
yeah.
They're just wasting ammo, poor shots, weird grouping. Not the type of thing you want. I mean, yeah, it's small and compact, so okay, it kind of works for being indoors. But the other 2 have actual bullpup rifles, and I'm a big fan of bullpup rifles. They're more tactical. They have a shorter barrel. They have a shorter they have a full-size barrel but a shorter overall length.
Yeah.
So it's ideal for being tactical and having to clear rooms and stuff. So being in the tight places, being down stairwells and stuff, it's smart. Like, 2 of the 5 terrorists in this firefight are smarter than the others.
Interesting observation.
Only in their choice of firearms. I mean, they get their asses kicked.
Now, meanwhile this is happening, Nev Campbell, again, is showing off her smarts with the, what is it, police chief or whatever?
Yes.
And the bitchy Chinese lady who doesn't believe anything she says. And where are they headed to? I'm thinking the construction area. Why? There's nothing there. Because there's nothing there. It's flat there. Oh, right. They're going to be base jumping off the tower in order to get away.
Yes, the case she saw that said Siren earlier, it turned out that it's the logo that's on that case is a company that makes parachutes. Now, the fact that no character knew that, but we don't see her learn that, that's where I've said that she obviously took the time to Google it after she saw it.
Not Google, Jabé.
Jabé. Whatever.
Yes.
But anyway, she looked it up, and so she gets to have that little smug moment with the cops of or she literally told them, look it up, you don't believe me.
And they did.
Like, if this was an American movie and not a Chinese-made movie, because it's Legendary Films, it's a Chinese-made movie.
Yeah.
That whole line wouldn't have been, look it up if you don't believe me. It would have been, Google it.
Yeah. So.
And she would have said it in perfect Cantonese, just added, you bitch. I know it. I've seen enough Nev Campbell movies that you're Google it, bitch.
Fine. So from there we have the entire fight taking place between The Rock and Zhao and the terrorists. Most of them die. Then the last terrorist has The Rock's daughter and is threatening the same thing as the first part of the movie. You know, with the grenade, dead man switch, because there's no what is it called? Pin.
It's
There's
just
no
holding
pin.
the pin, so they're literally only holding the plunger, the spoon.
And then The Rock is like, okay, putting down the gun. But then we find out it was one of the hologram things. The Rock is right behind him, takes him, saves his daughter, and the guy drops with the bomb, explodes in midair, and they're safe.
But they're in a fiery, burning building that now has extra explosions for some spice.
Okay, fine. So, not unlike Time, safe is relative. Then we have a firefight again with Nev Campbell, where she's like, what is it called? Like
She's
sliding
sitting
down
in
her
the
chair.
back of a car.
Huh?
She's literally just sitting in the back of a car.
Yeah, but she's like sliding down to not get shot at. They're shooting the guys in the construction area. When we have the Chinese badass, Ada Wong, going around the back of the car, obviously trying to steal it. She has her gun. When Nev Campbell unlocks the car and then kicks the door out.
Yep. And then they have a fight in the back seat of the car, and it could have been better. Like, the fight could have went a little bit longer. It could have been more interesting. I mean, it was good enough, but it is a short scene. But she manages to honk the horn, get the attention of Inspector Wu. He comes back and he puts a stop to the fight and arrests her. And while he has Ada Wong's attention, Nev Campbell goes, "Hey, bitch!" She turned around and kicks her in the face.
Like that.
Exactly.
So from there, then we have...
We just see The Rock and his daughter sitting in the burning building. Nev Campbell, she finds the little tablet that is the Jesus remote for the entire building.
Can we just call it Mary Sue, seriously?
I'm going to quit calling it the Jesus remote.
Okay, it's a McMuffin? No.
MacGuffin.
MacGuffin, thank you.
The MacGuffin remote.
There we go. Then she literally restarts the remote.
Yes, we go back to a lesson she learned at the beginning of the movie for, hey, if technology doesn't work, turn it off and turn it back on again. So she uses the MacGuffin to reboot the entire building, causing it to power down, power back up, and as soon as it powers back up, the fire suppression system kicks in, which apparently, instead of just having a sprinkler system, which we saw earlier in the movie, which is part of what caused the fire, every room in this building is actually outfitted with wall-mounted and CO2-mounted high-pressure CO2 dispersal units. Like, where were those when the fire started? Like, that's a giant plot hole in this movie of the terrorists start the fire by holding a flare up to the ceiling to trigger the sprinklers to ignite the chemical to start a fire. If the building is outfitted with high pressure CO2 dispersal, when the flare went up to the ceiling to trigger the fire alarm and the suppression system, the dude should have got blasted in the face with some high pressure CO2. They should have had a gentle rain of fire sprinkler.
Okay, but they did turn them off right after. I mean,
they turned off the entire fire suppression system after the fire got started, not before. Which, again, the fire suppression system for the entire building are high pressure CO2 jets.
Okay, true.
So, what the fuck are those sprinklers doing? Why do they even exist? They're only there to start the fire at the beginning of the movie.
Okay, but they did. Okay, no, they didn't start the fire. Fine.
They didn't start the fire.
Yeah, You just argued that they did.
I don't remember the rest of the words of the song. We didn't start the fire.
Moving on.
I mean, I can play that one too.
No.
You seem to get pissy.
We have enough copyright infringement. No.
It's Peter Gabriel. He didn't care.
Oh my God! It is not Peter Gabriel. What is wrong with you? Take it back. You know who it is.
No, I don't.
It's the Piano
Paul.
Man.
No.
It's Billy Joel.
Was it Billy Joel?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Cool.
God damn it. Okay, moving on. So, they get down, they have a happy ending, everyone's happy.
Yes, it's a happiness all around. And, like, this movie, I still say this movie needs a sequel.
God damn it.
It could be the next generation's Die Hard.
It was. It died hard.
No, we need at least one more movie out of this.
What are you going to call it?
I don't know. We did Skyscraper. Which, again, it's just a mix of Die Hard and Towering Inferno. So, we gotta make some stupid shit.
No.
We got the premise of Die Hard, so we gotta mix Die Hard. Let's see. The first Die Hard movie took place in an office building. This one took place in an office building.
No.
Towering Inferno was a building, there was an office building that was on fire. So the second Die Hard movie took place in an airport.
God damn it.
If we're going with 70s disaster movies that we're going to remake and rip off, Airport 77. We're going to mix Die Hard with Airport 77.
We already made that joke with snakes on the plane. No.
Which is how we're going to do Snakes on the Plane. It's
No.
Airport 77 mixed with Die Hard.
No, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 0 Point Energy, where you can obviously tell there's no point and even less energy.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of energy today, though.
Kinda, yeah.
It helps that it's not 4 a.m.
Oh God, yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Fuck you people, and have a good night.